highly anticipated Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is upon us. We have Episode 1, it's premiered on Disney+. It's titled The Northern Star, which I think is a great title because if you know anything about the Northern Star, you know it's the guiding light in the sky for going in the right direction. So a great title there. Let's go ahead and get into this episode review. Let's discuss what we got to see here inside of Episode 1. And first things first, we got to talk about and we got to discuss the brand new suit, Daredevil's black suit with the red lettering, the DD in red. I think it looks fantastic. It looks amazing on camera, especially during these nighttime scenes, which for the most part is what you're getting here out of the Daredevil series. And to get into plot points, this episode starts off with Daredevil sinking a tanker, a brand new shipment that Kingpin is expecting into the docks. If you remember in season 1, he revived the docks. He got that up and working again. And so he's expecting his ship to arrive. Daredevil sinks this to, thwart the Kingpin's plans. Once again, we see him swim back to shore. That was a very entertaining start. And then we get into a more so shocking scene, that being that Matt Murdock and Karen Page have now started a relationship. We have a scene where, it starts off with them kissing each other. It's more of a shocking, revealing moment to the audience. And I think this is a very good character moment here. It doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel out of character. We've seen, throughout the original series, this building up for a very long time, this flirtatious nature between these two characters. So it seems and feels fitting here. And I did appreciate seeing that. We also got to see Karen Page doing a little martial arts training. Matt Murdock seems to be, training her up, which makes sense considering the events that are currently taking place around them. But I do gotta say, one nitpick, one pet peeve that I don't like seeing in these types of series is why are they training fake martial arts? Why are they training Wing Chun? Why? That doesn't need to be here. We know it works. We live in a world with modern day mixed martial arts, MMA, UFC. We know it works at the highest level, okay? Boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. Why are we doing this fake, what is that, bro? They should get rid of that completely and have these characters do some real training. I think that would work out a lot better. But moving on to what else happens inside of this episode, we have Fisk's brand new task force that we've seen him create inside of season 1, the anti-vigilante task force. They're wreaking havoc. They go to this restaurant. They're tearing the place up. They're bothering the owner, Ariana. And of course, we have them making that slick comparison to the current administration in the United States. They do this a lot in series, okay? They have the restaurant owner straight up telling the task force person to their face, calling him a fascist. It's very on the nose, okay? We know what they're doing. We've seen this a lot, for instance, inside The Boys. Since season 1 of The Boys, they really ramped it up in the past 2 seasons. I'm a little tired of the narrative. It appears in way too many shows now, if you ask me, but does it make for entertaining content and a compelling story inside of this series? Of course it does. It's fantastic, okay? It just feels a bit overused for me. Now, let's go ahead and discuss the therapist character. If you remember, she was dating Matt Murdock in season 1. They've since seemingly separated from then. And if you remember, she was viciously attacked by her own client, this serial killer that was very rampant in season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. And she seems to be having some PTSD, some flashbacks from these events. That's really all you see out of her character throughout this episode. Now, moving on to the very end of this episode, right? The ending was very cool, because we got to see Daredevil take on the Fisk task force. We got to see them pretty much abusing and holding this guy kidnapped, holding him captive, and Daredevil comes in to save the day. We get a great fight choreography scene where we're seeing some great martial arts. We get to see Daredevil do his thing. He's using the batons. I love to see this take place. They did a great job with this scene, and the most important part of this scene is that they eventually, they start getting the better of Matt Murdock here. That I didn't expect. They start getting the better of him. They're holding him down. They're ripping the mask off him, similar to something you used to see happen to Rey Mysterio back in the day on WWE. Okay, they're ripping the mask off of Matt Murdock, and they fully get it off. They all see his face. They're all like, whoa, what the hell? It's the blind lawyer. What is going on here? The guy in the chair is extremely perplexed, confused, and before you know it, they all get their heads sniped off. We're like, what the hell is happening? Who just took them all out? And then the final shot of this episode, a knife lands, it hits the ground, and it says, "You're welcome," with the little Bullseye logo. Bullseye just saved Matt Murdock's life. Why? We're not really sure. Maybe because he feels like he was being used by Fisk in the first season and by Kingpin's wife mainly throughout that season. So him helping Daredevil out, even though Matt Murdock tried his best to kill Bullseye in season 1 of this series after he killed, of course, his best friend Foggy. That was an interesting character choice. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this plotline in the future. But if you ask me, this was a very solid opening episode for season 2. I think they opened on a high note here, and we have a lot more to go. They've sort of been keeping Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk separate and just letting the tension build between these two characters as Fisk gets more and more power the more we watch throughout this series. And I think they're doing a great job. Okay, if I had to go ahead and rate this episode, I would give The Northern Star, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 1 a 8.5 out of 10. It gets to 8.5 out of 10. I think a very strong start here, but I'm leaving some leeway. I'm leaving some room for growth and improvement because I think we're going to get episodes that are even more insane than this one. And I can't wait to see it, okay? We're going to continue covering the series on the channel here going forward. We'll do episode by episode review every time they release. So that's what you can expect to see in the future. Those are my thoughts on this episode, guys. I'd love to know your thoughts on this episode down in the comment section down below. If you don't know what we do here on Tim Got ENT, we do film, TV, and pop culture based content. So if you're interested in any of this type of content, in the right place, hit subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.